So, hello everyone. Welcome to All Blaze No Glory, the podcast. We're going to be talking about football today, and that's Scottish football, not NFL or anything like that. I'm joined by one of Dundee's favourite sons, Eddie Lafferty. How you doing, Eddie?
I'm good. Disappointed about the Dundee result yesterday, but I've learned to take that pain and obviously take it as a day out with the kids. And the oldest boy, he was on the BBC Sport website. He took it upon himself to take his sombrero down to Airdrie yesterday for the two Mexicans that we've recently signed. So yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
And you mentioned you're obviously a Dundee fan. Full disclosure, Dundee were playing Airdrie yesterday in the Viaplay Cup. How long Viaplay are sponsoring it, we don't know. How did you choose between Dundee and Dundee United growing up in Dundee, and what's the dynamic like between the two clubs?
I mean, to be honest, I didn't really have a choice. My father stayed on Clipton Road, and my mum stayed in Hindmarsh Avenue. And Hindmarsh Avenue is the street that goes in between Dens and Paradise when you're walking down Sandyman Street. And my dad took us to my first Dundee game when I was 18 months against Rangers in a friendly. So I didn't have any choice. The unfortunate thing for me, though, was Dundee United were probably one of the best teams in Europe at the time, getting to semi-finals of European Cups, finals of UEFA Cups. And as a boy that stayed in Bucklemaker Court, the big high-rise towers that got knocked down, I think, about 10 years ago, it was always horrible watching the Dundee United fans going from the Athletic Bar on their buses to Hampden on Cup final days. So didn't have a choice, but would it change it for anything? I think when I was possibly about 8, I fell out with my dad one night and I decided to go to see United and Eintracht Frankfurt in the UEFA Cup. But when I got home, he said to us, "Right, like was that? No, it's not as good as going to see Dundee." So I was in the blood from pretty earlier on.
Good. And what's your favourite moment as a Dundee fan? I know mine is a short-lived Dundee fan was the Doon Derby, but what's been your favourite Dundee moment?
I think the Doon Derby was good. I think Dundee missed an opportunity to really kick on at that time and try and establish himself as the big team in the city. Not taking anything away from the owners, I just thought that the choice of the managers that they made after Paul Hartley, for a club Dundee size, we shouldn't have rookie managers, and that's no disrespect to Neil McCann or James McBake. I want to go and see a football team with a manager that has a bit of clout, that knows what he's doing, and he's got that experience. And I think that's what's kind of tied me back over the past few years there. Yeah. But my favourite moment of sport in Dundee was when Neil McCann actually came on the pitch as a subby and scored in the 97th minute against Raith Rovers. We went in administration for the second time, and me and Cassie went over to Australia. You'll probably remember that. And I think the headline in the paper that week was Dundee are going into administration. And by the time we spoke to my dad on the Friday, they were in administration. And on the Saturday, we played Stirling Albion. And we were at a wedding. We were at Cassie's cousin's wedding. And Dundee scored. And the hotel room, Cassie's aunties and uncles joined on ours, and you could get into our room through the bathroom sort of thing. The conference centre, and when Lee Griffiths scored, I basically had my kilt on, but I didn't have anything else on. I jumped up in the air, and my kilt went down to my ankles. But my favourite time was Neil McCann's last minute winner. It just typified the spirit and the attitude of every Dundee fan that done things and put their money in. And for me, it was about saving my club. I've never been fortunate enough to see Dundee winning a trophy, B&Q Cup, Challenge Cup. Yeah, I've saw them winning the the league as well. But I think the dynamics of football, the way it is now with Rangers and Celtic, there's not going to be many teams that actually win the trophies. And when my dad said that when United won the league in 1983, they were at the top and there was only one way to go. It's just Scottish football. So I would say when Neil McCann came off the bench and that the ball hit the back of the net, I mean, the scenes in the Derry was wild. Grown men were looking at each other in tears that day, and I think that typified what we were trying to achieve by saving our football club.
Cool. And just obviously Dundee United are the big rivals to Dundee. One of my good pals is a Dundee fan. He famously told me that he'd rather see St Johnstone lose than Dundee United. Is that the same with you? Is there kind of a little bit of, although it's a rivalry, it's a bit more friendly than perhaps Rangers and Celtic?
I mean, the thing is, the Derby Day at the City is absolutely fantastic. I mean, we've had people in here at 8 o'clock in the morning, carry out. Cassie told me the night before, don't make any noise. Right, okay. So I'll come in here with 8 of my mates. We're all drinking Jaeger bombs and God knows what at that time of the morning. And Cassie came through and she just pointed her finger like she does. And she's like that. I told you to be quiet. And I just turned around and gave her a Jaeger bomb and she had that for her breakfast that day. But you can go to the pubs. You see all your mates. You see guys that you've never actually seen for years and years and years and years and years. And win, lose or draw, the game's forgot about. The game's forgot about. Yeah, there's a wee bit, we won the day and all the rest of it. But it's a friendly rivalry. I've been going to derbies for possibly 40 odd years now, and the only fight I've ever actually saw was two Dundee supporters after the game fighting on over a scarf.
Right, okay. Brilliant. So what I got you on about, what I wanted to talk to you about is I've developed a bit of an interest in sort of lower league football, non-league football, junior football, whatever you want to call it. Everybody tells me I'm saying the wrong description when I'm talking about these things, but you are involved in Dundee North End, which is a junior football club, I think. Tell us a bit about how you got involved in them and a bit about them as well.
So, touching back to Dundee, I've done a lot of fundraising for Dundee over the years. We used to do a Facebook page called Friends of Dundee Football Club. We raised thousands and thousands of pounds, but the results on the park, going to the game, people saying, what about this, what about that, what about that? And I kind of wasn't a fan anymore. I was too invested. People were texting us stupid things that I kind of repeat on here when I'm sitting watching TV on a Saturday night after Dundee got beat. People thinking, well, I'm hurting as much as Dundee getting beat, but people just sending things and all the rest of it. So I was kind of disillusioned. I was going to Dundee games. I was leaving after 25, 30 minutes, and I just didn't want to be at Dens Park. So I kind of says, right, okay, I'm good at what I do with the fundraising. My young laddie, Macaulay, was playing for Merrifield United, and I got asked to go along to North End. And I didn't understand the magnitude of the job that we actually do there. I went along, 10 guys, 12 guys, 13 guys on the committee, all want to do their best for their football team. Now, the problem that we've got is Dens and Tannadice are the two closest stadiums in Europe. We are probably the third closest to Dens and Tannadice. We're probably the nearest stadium to Dens and Tannadice. So it's very, very difficult to try and tap into the wider commercial market where we could go and get 25,000 pound sponsors. And I just seen it as a challenge. I seen it as a challenge from taking a club that's got a good base, with a good bunch of guys, and see how far we could go. We started off because we've got the facility at North End. We've had over 220 people into our hospitality at one game. Because we've got the facility there, we really put on a fantastic spread. There has been people that have been in our hospitality since 12 o'clock and woke up in the toilets because they fell asleep at 5 o'clock in the morning with the fire alarms going off. So that's where that's where I'm in North End. It's a project and it's a job that we just want to try and climb the leagues. Now, first and foremost, I was down at Bonnybridge on Tuesday night, and apart from the pitch being a wee bit sloped, what a fantastic facility the guys have got there. And you're seeing the non-league, the non-league club, the clubs that are now coming into the bottom tier, the second division, from the juniors, from the Highland League, the Lowland League. And they're a breath of fresh air at the game. Bonnyrigg was the classic example. Dundee would maybe get Cowdenbeath or play there in a friendly, and you'd be going, and there would be lucky if there was 250 fans there. I don't know how many fans that were actually at Bonnyrigg on Tuesday night, but I would say probably just by looking, there would probably be anything between 1,000 and 1,500, and that's what the scope is for. There should be the scope for every football club that wants to go to the league and but end up professionally. And ultimately, that's our dream at North End.
Yeah, and just a bit about the club. I've done a little bit of looking up. Founded in 1895, nickname is the Dokens. Do you know why that is?
So the Dokens. So there used to be loads of Doken trees around our pitch. Right. And all the Doken trees used to fall on the pitch, and that's why they got called the Dokens. But going back to where we were by North End, there was a story. One of the club's great supporters, Bob North, he's always putting up pictures of yesteryear, and we used to actually have a goat that ate the grass, to cut the grass on the pitch because we couldn't find. I think it was one of the committee members. It was his goat, and he kept it there and cut the grass.
That's brilliant, and that's harnessing animal power to great effect. The league itself you're in, just looking it up, it seems like quite a local league. I think there's maybe 5 or 6, maybe even 7 teams from Dundee in itself. Does that create quite interesting rivalries and dynamics throughout the year?
I think there is rivalries. There's a lot of big clubs there, like Lochie United, Downfield,
and there's another church.
There's a lot of clubs there like Downfield and Lochie United, Violet, East Craigie as well. And it's a good rivalry. I mean, are we best friends with the people that are on the committees there? Probably no, but it's a gentleman's game, eh? It's a gentleman's game. But the league this year is very, very exciting. Lochie United, they brought in Bobby Lynn from Arbroath, and they brought in a good, decent few players as well. We've brought in a guy called Lewis Kidd, who's played for Celtic, Falkirk, Queen of the South Albion Rovers. And it seems like the league's getting stronger and stronger. Ex-United player Paddy Conley, he's took over at Carnoustie. So this year it's going to be a cracking league, whereas I think a couple of years ago, the first season I was there, Carnoustie won it. East Craigie pushed them a long way. Last year, Carnoustie won it. Downfield pushed them a long way. But there was maybe 3 teams that will probably, it could be, instead of last year it was any 2, I think this year it could be any one of 5 or 6 teams that could actually win the league. So the league's getting stronger. We've got a fantastic management team in Lewis Toshney and Kevin Kevin, I can't, I can't remember his second name. Sorry, Kev, I will remember it soon. Kevin McNaughton, that played for Cardiff. We've got a fantastic management team there, and what they've actually done player-wise, and it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And even though, like, Kev's played in the Premiership playoff final down in Cardiff, when he's on that training pitch, he's had a hip replacement. You wouldn't even know. You wouldn't even know. He played a couple of games towards the end of the season, and he's thrown through them. Just like we signed Ryan McCord just when Lewis and Kevin came in, and Ryan was, like me, probably a wee bit overweight when he came in, but he really worked hard on his fitness. He was doing 10K runs, and do you know someone? The guy's 40-year-old, and 20-year-olds and 25-year-olds just can't get the ball off him because he's still running the game. So exciting times for us, and hopefully we won a trophy last year. Hopefully we could be there at the end of the season challenging for the league.
Good. That's good to hear. Nice positive outlook. And in terms of winning the league, that also comes with a promotion playoff against the Highland League teams. Is that a separate challenge in itself because they've got a bit more full-time setup, or?
So I don't think that's actually set up at the moment yet. I think where we are there's clubs that have got to have licenses to go up the tiers. They're talking about doing a central league where they've invited like 80 junior teams to apply. And what you need to do is you need to tick all the boxes for the SFA criteria for the stadium and everything. So we're not quite at that stage yet. But I think what the league winners do, I think there's maybe a possibility of a Scottish Cup place. So last year, Lochie United and Carnoustie went into the Senior Scottish Cup, even though they took part in the Junior Scottish Cup as well.
Nice. It's quite nice getting a cup day. I think Broxburn had that a couple of years ago as well, and I know that it brought a lot of crowd over and things like that. So tell us a bit about like what someone wanting to go to watch Dundee North End could expect from a day at I've forgotten the name of it, North End Park. I mean, that's simple to remember.
Yeah. So we've had, as I said earlier on, we've had 225 people in the hospitality. We do hospitality every home game. Our main forte is steak pie and soup and trifle. The thing about us is, and this is where we are compared to Dundee and Dundee United. So Dundee United and Dundee will tender their food out to the Hilton or somewhere, and the food will be brought in and served. That's what they do at Dens. I'm not sure what they do at Tannadice. The treasurer cooks the soup on the Friday night. The president's wife and mum come in and do the steak pie and everything on the Saturday. So it's getting food that's cooked with a wee bit of homely feeling for that. You also get 5-drink tokens as well. And over the last year, we had Ian Ferguson that played for Dundee United Rangers UEFA Cup semi-finalist. We had him in for an interview. We also had Jockey Scott in for an interview, Bobby Glennie, Les Barr. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to give that wee bit of extra entertainment, but we charge £35, and it's compared to the prices of the senior game. Like yesterday, I saw one of my Dundee supporter mates at the game. Right, Dundee are playing Celtic on the 16th of September. That's my birthday. I'll be in Monte-Table at 10 for hospitality. So we've now built it up where we do have a really, really good reputation. We have ladies' days, 150 women in at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, which are fun and fantastic. We had 170 teachers in as well. and we do our Christmas party nights. We just try and maximise every opportunity that we can to make as much as we can to obviously provide the funds for Lewis and Kevin.
Good. And what's the entertainment like on the park? Because I guess that's the main event, right?
So to be honest, we have a very, very good squad of young laddies. We've got Liam Gibb, Brian Rice, Jamie McNaughton, Frankie Devine, all guys that have been with us for about 7 years. But they're I better mention Smudger as well, Ryan Smith. But they're all guys that have been there for about 5, 6, 7 years, and they're the core of the team. Frankie Devine, on his day, there's no better player in the juniors than young Frankie. And we're playing now that we're playing under Lewis and Kevin, and they're buying into what the manager are asking that we do on the park. We played some fantastic football. I mean, we played Carnoustie in the Quest Engineering Cup last year. We won 4-1. And to be honest, Carnoustie had a lot of games on at that time, and they were probably a wee bit tired. But we went at them from the traps, and once we got the second goal, there was only going to be one winner. However, we played them a couple of 10 days later in the semi-final in another cup, and they beat us. So it's there's a good squad there. It's exciting football, and it's just a joy to watch it sometimes. Just a joy to watch it sometimes. Yeah.
Good to hear. And if someone wasn't coming for the hospitality, maybe just thought, oh, I'm going to go to a football game today. What sort of price are you talking to get in and stuff like that? Is it quite reasonable?
So kids under 16 getting free. Concessions are £3 and adults are £6. Now, that's last season's prices. We don't know if we've put them up. I don't think we have. I think where we do really, really well, we've got a fantastic backroom team that run the shop, Callie Miller. Again, it's the family connection. My wife, I work there. My wife helps out. The treasurer's wife works out. The president's wife works out. We all chip in. The price of the food is really, really reasonable. With having a young laddie that's only 5-year-old that doesn't have the sense of money, I've got to put £20 kitty behind the shop so you could just go and get ice creams and everything where he wants it.
It's quite a good tactic. If you find it's worked quite well to keep kids coming along, obviously that secondary spending stuff, that's quite sensible. Whereas a lot of clubs maybe are charging kids to get in, particularly as you say, like Dundee United. I think it's 15 quid or whatever it is for a kid to get in. So is that good? You get quite a lot of kids along.
We have a core of kids. They call themselves the 1895 Ultras. We'll have a core of kids. We like if it's teams from with the city, there's no many kids go to the games. But like the Lochie, they've got their Ultras, and Carnoustie have got their Ultras, and Dunfield have got their Ultras, and I'm trying to. So Macaulay's learned to play the trombone at school, so I'm trying to be the first Ultras in Dundee with a trombone player.
Well, it can't be any worse than a vuvuzela, I would imagine.
Well, he does sound like a vuvuzela at the moment. He's I think he was trying to play one of the Dundee songs that were singing yesterday, kids. So, okay, he'll get there. He's got another 6 years or something to do that.
And you've mentioned, obviously, you've come in and you've done a lot of fundraising and things for the club. Where and the club are aiming high in the league. Where are you trying to get the club in, say, the next 5-10 years?
I think where we want to be in the next 5-10 years, we want to be in the professional league. We want to be on the tier where we're going up there. There's a lot of hard work to be done. But I think with the management team that we've actually got and the contacts that Tosher's got and Kevin's got as well, will only benefit in the long run. And I think if we could do that and move up the league, even though there will probably be people looking at Kevin and looking at Lewis, I think because we're a tight-knit community, I don't think there'll be any problems of Lewis and Kevin not being there when we're going up the league. I think they see the project as well. They see what we're wanting to do, and you never know what's going to happen. However, we might be one of 80 clubs that are applying for the Central League licence. Then you've got to go at the Central League. Then what will happen then is so there'll be the bottom of the second division, the Central League winners, Highland League winners, Lowland League winners, and they'll go into a playoff. So you've got your season, you go there, and it's just about getting in the right steps to obviously take the club on to the next level. I think when we've came out of COVID, I think it was really, really difficult for every club because there was no money. Our sponsors didn't pay with anything. However, our main sponsor, Alan and Paul at ANC Engineering, they paid us every month all the way through COVID, which was a fantastic gesture when everybody else was obviously work wasn't getting done, they weren't getting paid from suppliers, etc., etc., etc. So we've got a lot of good things in the background at North End that we really, really appreciate. We had a Teachers' Day last month for 170 teachers. One of the girls, my cousin, she was like, she had 42 people there, and she's like, right, I want to book 60 for one of your Christmas party night. So it's about us getting it right off the park and not transferring over to Lewis and Kevin and the guys on the park to obviously be the best that they can.
Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. And what's been your sort of your favourite moments in this journey so far?
My favourite moment was winning the cup last year. As I said, being a Dundee supporter, silverware is very, very, very hard to find. We won the cup. It was a fantastic day. We went on the bus from the ground, probably 2 miles, 3 miles from North End to Whitton Park. But the wives were on the bus, the kids were on the bus, the players were on the bus, and it was a day about everybody at the club. It wasn't about anybody else here.
That sounds fantastic. And where's the sort of do you play teams out with the league as well, or is it just sort of very within the league you play games?
So there's the Scottish Junior Cup as well. So these, as you said, with Broxburn, I think we've played them there. We've played Colney Park, Newmarket, Stonehaven, Largs, Lesmahago. The Scottish Cup and the Scottish Cup days are. We'll leave at probably maybe 10 o'clock in the morning, and the hospitality that you receive from junior clubs is absolutely outstanding. We went to Newmarket, and I started off that it was only the committee that were in getting free drink from the Newmarket board. By half time, the whole of the bus, apart from the players and the management team, were in this hospitality lounge, and we're all getting free drink. However, Bruce, the treasurer, the gentleman that he is, with junior football, you get so much of the gate and cup ties, and Bruce turned around and says, "Look," he says, "You guys have looked after us today. There, have the gate money. That'll go towards the drink that was spent." And probably it was probably more that they were drunk than they got back from the drink. But we then had them down, and we done the same for them in a pre-season friendly last year. So we've got Cumbernauld this year in the Scottish Cup. We had Rob Roy Kirtliston last year, and I think they play at the same ground as Cumbernauld. So I'll be like going back to the same place again, but playing a different team. But the away days are fantastic, especially the Scottish Cups when we're on the bus and we're all going up there. And it's you just feel on the bus going there, you feel the silence. You know the players are trying to get focused in and ready for the game, and the boys are a wee bit excited, and we're just sitting there, and they got off the bus, and we'll go to the pub and do whatever we want to do.
Brilliant. So you travel with the team then, I presume, from
Yeah. If we've got a fixture out of town and it's a cup game, either a Scottish Cup game or a Quest Engineering. Quest Engineering's the Dundee, Aberdeen, and I don't think there's any Highland League teams. But like as I said, we had Stonehaven on the way to winning the trophy last year. So, but we all go on the bus. We all go on the bus, and the fans go on the bus as well.
And are the players quite approachable and stuff like that? You know, you mentioned there's a lot of kids and they call themselves ultras and stuff. The players quite good with the kids.
Oh, the players are absolutely fantastic. The players are absolutely fantastic. When we done our Player of the Year, Rory just stole the show with his dancing. And then they had the trophy and they were throwing it in the air. And the captain, Gibby, he lifted Rory and Rory had the trophy and they're throwing him up in the air. They love the kids. They love the kids. They're all approachable. You ask them to do anything. One of the players came down to the house one night and they said Rory and Macaulay have a bit of paper and asked him for his autograph and he done it. So yeah, they're all good guys. Yeah.
And in terms of you obviously we talked a bit at the start about your Dundee fandom and obviously North End's in a different thing. What do you think's the sort of benefit of watching football at the sort of where Dundee North End are as opposed to watching the professional ranks?
I think in junior football you get treated more like an individual. Now that's like now for professional football clubs, it's to get in as much money as possible, and I think because of where we are with the leagues and everything. I mean, do I want to go and see Dundee get beat from Celtic 5-0? Do I want to go and see Dundee get beat from Rangers 6-0? No. But you're there, you go to the Graham, you're a cash cow. We went to the Etihad last year, and what a fantastic experience down there. I went with one of the guys that was at school with, Stevie Hornby, and his young laddie Finlay, with Macaulay and my mate. And there was the fan zone where all the fans went and had a few beers before the game. Whereas here it's get the fans in at 2:45, sit them down, rip them off for the price of pies because you're buying the same pies at shops that you could buy for a pound cheaper. I do understand that they've got to make money, etc. But it's just I think with football, Premier League teams especially, you're a cash cow. It's about getting as much money out of you as possible. With junior teams, it's not a dear day out. It's not a dear day out at all. As I touched on with hospitality earlier on, £35 for a 3-course meal and 5 drinks. And that speaks volumes for itself. When you go to Dens for hospitality, told that like the pay bar one's £144. Now, I'm not a scientist, but if you put the price of a meal, price of entry into Dens, price of a programme, price of a couple of sandwiches and everything, you're probably going to be about 60 quid. Okay? You're not going to drink £80 a drink in 3 hours. Well, Cassie probably would, but I wouldn't.
I don't know if Cassie can hear you right now, but he might be.
She's got the kettle
on. Well, that's fantastic. I mean, one of the things I enjoyed about going to the sort of Broxburn games, I went to Broxburn, Livingston United, because of where I kind of live. It's easy to get to. Is you can properly hear sort of the players communicating, the scalp of the ball and stuff like that. Do you quite like that aspect of it? How close you are to the park? I mean, it's freezing because there's no shelter in most of these places, but
I'll give you a cracker. Last year when we were playing Craigie, now I think I was in the league, and the linesman don't know what he was thinking about, and the ball went out, and the linesman missed it, right? And I think the referee gave a throw in that he's Craigie, and we're giving the linesman abuse. And the referee turned around to the linesman and says, "You pay attention now. Right, we're doubled up. We're doubled up. Eh? It's just you're closer. You didn't get close to the players. I interviewed Ian Ferguson, and he told me when he signed for Dundee, they used to do their work from, say, Monday to Thursday, and Thursday night they would get a night out before, and they wouldn't train on the Friday for the game on the Saturday. And he was telling me that he was drinking in the 3 barrels, and he was drinking here and he was drinking there. And because he was brought in at Dens when he was a young laddie, the guys that he was drinking in the Dundee pubs. It was his mates that he got to know over the years that they were drinking with. So when he's going on the park, he's playing for his mates. He's not playing for the football. He's playing for his mates. He's playing for the football team, and he's obviously playing for himself as well. But there's that connection for the professional game now, where the players, the only time that you'll actually get near them at a night out is the player of the year at the end of the season. Whereas with the juniors, we're our mates. If we win, lose or draw at a Scottish Cup game or an away game, and we're on the bus, we're all sitting drinking on the bus coming back. We're all going to the clubby after the game, and we have drinks in the clubby after the game. So it's the connection with the guys, with the laddies, compared to the professional game. There's no any connection there.
Cool. Is there anything else I've not touched on that you want to tell me a bit about the club or the league? Because I appreciate that I have a limited knowledge of these things, and you know a lot more about it than I do.
No. As I've said, Richard, I think this year Dundee Junior Football Club wise is going to be a fantastic league, and it's going to be an exciting league. Do I think that there's going to be 2 teams at the end of it probably run away as far with how many points run away? Probably not. The league's been strengthened this year. We've obviously got the best management team that we think in place that will obviously help us achieve our targets. And I think it's going to be hard to do it, but I think that we can have a successful season. Would I say that we're going to win the league? Probably. I hope we'll win the league. But it's about the work that the guys do and what they learn from their coaches, because I think that we've got 2 fantastic coaches, not only in Lewis and Kev, we've also got a couple other coaches there as well.
Brilliant. And then you've mentioned where you think the North End might end up. I guess we've got to ask the question: what are Dundee going to do this year?
So I think that we possibly, so if it was the team that played yesterday, the team that started yesterday will struggle. We've brought in a few guys. We brought the young laddie. I'm quite excited with the young laddie Beck from Liverpool. We brought the Mexicans in. First glances on the striker yesterday, as he's got something that we don't have up front, and we've not had up front for a while. A target man that could header the ball, and I think Dundee's, if you watch Dundee over the last couple of seasons, it's not been football that's going down the wings and crosses. It's more pippy-tappy, pass the ball. Prediction for where Dundee are going to be at the end of the season, I would like them to finish 10th. I see Livingston don't have that money to go out there and buy players. St Johnstone have been relatively slow in the transfer market as well. For me, the good thing about the recruitment drive at Dens this season, it's not been, you'll always get 10, 15, 20, 30 players that are released. You look at many Ross County released, you look at many Dundee United released, you look at many that St Johnstone released as well. And it seemed to be that anybody that was getting released or coming to the end of their contract for clubs that players didn't want, that ended up at Dens. Whereas I think there's been an out-the-box thinking mentality on the signings that we've actually got. only time will tell. I mean, hopefully the Mexican guys will be good, but I've only saw 20 minutes of one of them, and the other one was a video on YouTube. So hopefully 10th. Hopefully 10th, as long as we didn't hear playoff with Dundee United. I think the Doon derby was fantastic, but the expectation was it didn't matter whether Dundee United were playing Dundee that day or they could have been playing anybody. They would have got beat and they would have got relegated. But I think if there was a playoff final between the two clubs, holy schmoly, that would be someone else. And I don't think my heart would take it.
Brilliant. Well, thanks for your time this morning. And if anyone wants to find out more about the club that Eddie's involved in, it's Dundee North End on Facebook, and you get a lot of information on Facebook from them. You've got a website as well.
We don't have a web page, but what I would like to say is I touched on Jimmy's wife Callie and the fantastic job that she does in the shop. I mean, the social media that Jimmy's turning out is absolutely fantastic. And do you know something? It's watching the club grow from where we were 2 years ago. We're now interviewing our manager after the game. We're now interviewing players after the game, and we're actually doing live updates and putting goals on. And do you know something? The social media is absolutely fantastic. And Jimmy and Callie, and I better say Uncle Ronnie as well, because he played for North End. He managed North End, and me and him do a lot of the unsung hero work when we're up at the club on Friday, peeling tatties for the hospitality and doing those kind of things. So, yeah, I better mention these guys. But Jimmy's social media is absolutely brilliant, and the what we are doing at that club, people want to come. That they want to sponsor with, people want to come to our hospitality, and it's all about building the club and where we are now compared to where we were 2 years ago. What a difference! And I say this to the rest of the committee, guys. You do a brilliant job. We really work hard, and we're an absolutely credit to the club, and it's brilliant working with them.
Fantastic. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to when you mentioned a lot of people there that you've maybe not mentioned?
So obviously there's Bruce, the treasurer, Gary Irons, the president. We've got John Ramsey, the groundsman. He's works as a full-time joiner for Gary Irons, and he's there in the morning doing the strips with his wife, and he's cutting the grass, and he's doing this and he's doing that, and it's such a family club. My Bairns goes, Robert Faulkner, who asked me to go along, their kids go as well. Mark Miller, the boy that I worked with at Tesco, and Uncle Frank. We can't forget Uncle Frank either, and so. All good boys, and we just want to see our team do well. We've got dreams, obviously, going up the ladder, but listen, it's not going to be an easy task because there's another 80 teams potentially that want to go into the Central League. So let's see where we go. But as I said, the people that are coming to us, they're coming to us because of the job we do. It's not, and it's getting noticed, and it's getting noticed in all the right places.
Good stuff, and I guess I can wish you all the best in the destination, but the journey sounds like it's going to be a blast as well. So,
yeah. The journey is good. The journey is good. I better mention my wife as well because she helps out with the hospitality. Oh, and Ashley Tynan. Oh, can't forget Ashley. But listen, it's just you wouldn't believe the effort and the work that we put in to do what we do. But when it works, it's brilliant. Okay? Like the 170 teachers that we had at Teachers' Day on the 30th of June, 11:30. I've got the phone out. The music's still banging in the clubby. There's possibly 50 people still there, and they'd been there for 2 o'clock. And I couldn't do that without the rest of the guys. And the rest of the guys couldn't do that without me. And it's the sentiments of what we do. If there's a sniff of somebody wanting something, like one of the parents last year came to me and says, they're vegan. They came to me and said, we're going to the hospitality for one of the semi-finals. We want a curry. I'm like, right, no problem. I'll get you curry. Tell me what you want and I'll go and get it. And we've got Ricky at the Abacure Hotel in Carnoustie. His buffet, Indian buffets are absolutely outstanding. I just phone him and say, right, I'm needing 3 of this, 2 of this, 5 of this. And he gets it dropped off. He gets it dropped off at Carnoustie. So we have all the right things in place. And if one of the parents or somebody doesn't want to come to the hospitality and eat steak pie, they want a curry, we'll get them a curry.
Fantastic. Well, thanks so much for your time this morning. Really appreciate you taking the time out to chat about both Dundee and Dundee North End, and hopefully, fingers crossed, both seasons go well for both clubs.
Well, I mean, ultimately, and I must be going soft in my old age. I touched on the derbies, and I think the city of Dundee needs derbies. They need Dundee and Dundee United to be in the same league. Do I think Dundee as a city can cope with 2 Premier League clubs? I think probably not. And I think probably maybe in 50 years or 100 years when I'm not here, 2 people that own the clubs will probably turn around and merge them together. But it's the Dundee United fans, they do a couple of good things for North End as well. We had the Federation Cup, their annual 7-a-side tournament with their supporter clubs yesterday. We've also done a memorial day for them as well. I managed to go to Alkmaar that day to get as far away as possible for all the Dundee supporters singing in the clubby. But it was just because we were in Amsterdam and I wanted to get the boys a couple of strips. So, but no, we do fantastically from both sets of fans, and I think, you know what, there's fixtures there. Right, okay, well, I was speaking to my cousin about this the other day. I'm going to St. Right, okay, we'll go to St. But you're looking at fixtures and you're like, oh, do you really fancy going to Tynecastle or Pittodrie or this or that? Whereas when Dundee United were in the same league, the first thing you would actually look for is the derbies, eh? And you know what, would I like to say I want United to win the league this year? Well, probably not. But if Dundee and United are playing in the same league next year and we didn't hate to do any friendlies or any playoffs or anything, I think it'll be a good season.
Fantastic. Well, thanks so much for that. I really appreciate your time, and as I say, I wish you all the best with Dundee North End as well.
Thank you very much, mate. Thank you.